So I'd like to call this meeting of the Narragansett Regional School District School Committee to order, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are recording this session. It is an open public session, but we're also recording this, and it will be made available to the public on our website, on our YouTube channel, once it is processed. I am going to read who's attending because we're trying some new technology tonight, and I'm not sure if everyone's faces will be clear, so I'll announce who's in the room. And then we also are taking advantage of our remote participation policy for one of the members, and I'll talk about that shortly. So in attendance in person is Mrs. Matson, Mrs. Nemzura, got it, Mr. Mason, Mr. Marks, and myself, Mrs. Hughes. We also have Superintendent Dr. Casavan, Assistant Superintendent Kate Calise, the business manager, Anne-Marie Geister. And we have one member who is attending remotely via our remote participation policy procedures that we do have in place. And that's Mrs. Smith. And I just need to announce that her name and that she is participating remotely under a valid reason under 940 CMR 2910 section 5. Let's see. I just want to because we've never done this before, I do want to just read off what the regulations for the remote participation are. Is that members of public bodies who participate remotely may vote and shall not be deemed absent for purposes of MGL 3923D. All votes taken during any meeting in which a member participates remotely shall be by roll call. A member can participate in executive session. Once we get into the session, we'll just confirm that Mrs. Smith is alone. So to make sure that we are respecting the executive session. And if there is someone who is around, the person could be approved by a simple majority of the public body. I think that is the basics of it. If there are some technical difficulties that do arise, we'll try and figure out how to address the situation. We could wait and try to rectify a connection issue, or we may have to decide to move on without the participation. We can't rectify that. So that in a nutshell is our remote participation policy. So tonight we're here to go into executive session first. So I would entertain a motion per MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A, to enter into executive session for reason number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the NDEA or litigation with the NDEA if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. So the meeting will return to open session immediately following. And I had a motion by Mrs. Matson. Do I have a second? And a second by Mr. Marks. I'm going to do a roll call. Mrs. Matson? Yes. Mrs. Nemzura? Yes. Mr. Mason? Aye. Mr. Marks? Yes. Mrs. Hughes says yes. And Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we are going to go into executive session. What will happen, we're actually going to go into a different room. So this will run and we'll put a notice up that we're in executive session. We'll return shortly back into public and report out on what the executive session was on. So we shall see you shortly. Thank you. We swear, right?
Yeah. I have time.
There's no, I should never have told you the full.
No, you shouldn't. I advised you, but I saw the box. And the box was just sitting on the floor, that it was like.
They're gonna throw that box away.
It
Right.
was like.
Yeah, and we borrowed it.
Advice, right?
We borrowed it, you know what I mean?
The box.
Tomorrow. So I'll figure out how to do that.
Okay.
Make that out. Perfect, right?
They have names up there, so- Okay, so we have ended executive session and we are reopening the public session. We have one item.
Never stopped, I don't think.
No, I think he left it running.
Oh, sorry.
Yep, that's good. Nope. It's all new. Yep. So we only have one item on our open meeting agenda today, which is the approval of a 3-year contract with the NDEA, which is the Narragansett District Educators Association, our teachers union, which would be for the fiscal year 23 to fiscal year 25, which is July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. So we were in executive session discussing the particulars. I would entertain a motion to approve the 3-year contract with the NDEA for fiscal year 23 to fiscal year 25, covering June 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025, as presented. So I have a motion by Mrs. Mattson. Do I have a second? I have a second. I'll give it to Mr. Mason. Any questions, comments, or concerns about the content of the contract? Okay, seeing none, we will do a roll call. Mrs. Mattson?
Yes.
Mrs. Nanchura?
Yes.
Mr. Mason?
Aye.
Mr. Marks?
Yes.
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
And Mrs. Hughes says yes. So that is unanimous. So we have approved the contract with the NDEA. They themselves, just for the record, had voted and ratified it earlier. So both sides now have agreed that the contract is in place, and we'll get that signed, and we can now move forward with a couple of housekeeping things, and we're all good. So if there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Mr. Mason, do I have a second?
That was me.
That was Mrs. Mattson. I unfortunately have to do roll call because Mrs. Mattson,
Yes.
Mrs. Ventura,
Yes.
Mr. Mason,
Aye.
Mr. Marks,
Yes.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
and Mrs. Hughes says yes. So we are officially adjourned. I thank everyone, and thanks everyone for who's worked on the contract, and have a wonderful evening. So thank you.